Hello and welcome to Roleplay Royale with Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. I'm very excited to start this new series, and so I want to tell you all what this will be about. I streamed a little bit of Pillars of Eternity earlier, and I wasn't able to finish the game at all. It was more the beginning hours, I think, roundaboutish, the first 10 hours. And I really enjoyed it. It was just because of lack of time I wasn't able to continue. And now I'm very excited to play Pillars of Eternity 2 and go through the game with all of you. My intention for this game is to focus more on the role-playing aspect of this game, which means we will not play on a very high combat difficulty. That won't be the focus. It will be all about immersing ourselves into the world, immersing ourselves with the characters, and get to know them, do some role-playing, and explore the world as good as we can, take our time and have a very fun journey through the game, I hope. I also got all the DLCs that are available at the time, all the free DLCs, as well as Beast of Winter, Seeker Slayer Survivor, and The Forgotten Sanctum. So we should be well prepared to get things going. One little note before we really start. I aim to upload about 2 videos a week of Pillars of Eternity 2, depending on how much time I have. Daily Darkest Dungeon is still going on, obviously, and my streams also have priority, but I will try to get to move along with the game as good as possible, and I think 2 episodes a week is a good number to do that. Now, without further ado, let's start a new game. I decided to play on relaxed. Again, not much focus on the combat. It will really be about the role-playing aspects. So let's start the game. As a little note, I made up my mind and put in some thought about what kind of character I want to play and what kind of character I want to portray. So the character creation won't be, hopefully at least, not super long. I have a rough sense of what I want to play throughout this campaign. And then I also played a little bit of the very beginning.
A world where mortals live, die, and are reborn through the turning of the wheel. The cycle of reincarnation watched over by the gods, and made possible through pillars of a mystical substance known as Audra. 5 years ago, you traveled from your home to the Deerwood, a nation that had waged war against the incarnated god of light, Aethys, resulting in his destruction. The country suffered from a plague of hollowborn, infants born without souls, that many believed was punishment for killing a god. In an ancient, secluded ruin, you witnessed a secret ritual that inadvertently transformed you into a watcher. One who can see and speak with souls. The ritual also gave you horrible visions, waking nightmares of a past life that threatened your sanity. To put them to rest, you pursued the man who had led the ritual, a seemingly immortal agent of the gods, known as Theos Ix Arcanon. With divine assistance, you confronted and defeated Theos, ending your visions and resolving the Hollowborn crisis. In so doing, you also learned the great secret that Theos had protected. That the ancient empire of Anguith had transformed themselves into gods. Your visions finally put to rest, you retired to the castle of Cadnua, built atop a massive statue of pure Audra, where you ruled in relative peace and prosperity.
As I was mentioning while I was so rudely
Made a nice
interrupted.
story. You fixing up that old
And
keep,
again, so I will wait with
lifting
it.
the curse. Must have told it 100 times. But something got to gnawing at me.
Good old man
Thinking the
Mercer.
spirits there weren't really at rest. That maybe the gods weren't finished with us. I used to dream that when my God came back, he would forgive us. Last the trouble with dreams. Sooner or later, we all have to wake up.
And so you wake to a sleepless world, the in-between of life and death. Follow your memories. You have been here before.
And there we are. As I was trying to say twice now, I played a little bit of the very beginning here to check everything out, if everything works, but did not get too far in, just the very beginning area. So I will be playing this completely blind for the most part, and also because I didn't finish Pillars of Eternity 1, I'm not familiar with the late game content there. However, something I do want to enable, because there is show Pillars of Eternity 1 reactivity. That will show us when something is connected to Pillars of Eternity 1. I will leave that one on so we know when that happens, and maybe some of you can tell me then what actually happened in the first Pillars of Eternity. Totally fine with that. Obviously no spoilers for Pillars of Eternity 2, but if you have some information from Pillars of Eternity 1 that may be of interest to me, just let me know. And there's also another one, because there is an option to show what kind of effect your dialogue options have. And although I think that is a very fun thing, I don't want that. Enable difficulty. No, that is not. Display the effects of choosing each conversation option on the players. Yes, that I want to turn off, because I don't want to know what kind of effect my answers will have. Instead, I just want to role play my character, and however that will play out, I will have to live with the consequences there. But now we are here as a little goo of soul. Let's get going.
You have seen past the shroud. You are a watcher now, and the watcher
That part I
will
remember.
stay.
It was in the very beginning of Pillars of Eternity 1.
A watcher sees souls, knows their pasts, and the souls see them back.
Definitely pacing past the other souls. So it seems
A
like
dubious honor, inheriting a fortress both broken
Eothas
and
was
cursed.
reborn or came back and is now on the loose, maybe? I think that is what's going on.
What is a god? A higher power? A rewarder of good deeds and punisher of the wicked?
The gods aren't real, but something else entirely. Something created by people.
And did you ever consider that these were things you were never meant to understand? That their comprehension is beyond you?
Let the world see. Let them
So
decide
I
what
assume
to
those
do.
are all flashbacks to the first Pillars of Eternity.
The wheel has turned again, Watcher. Come.
Okay. Someone is talking to us and is inviting us there. The wheel is turning, so the cycle of life and death continues. We'll get to the character creation very soon. And then we will see how the character will shape. Again, I have a little bit of an idea of how I want to do it and what kind of options I want to pick. But maybe I will change my mind once I see something different. You know how that goes with character creations.
An aged dwarf shares this strange floating platform with you. His face is creased by so many wrinkles that his features lie buried amid shadowy pockets of skin. Still, the dwarf's well-practiced habits have left telltale tracks of a welcoming rictus across his visage. You can see his smile coming before it blooms, reshaping the dwarf's face from a hanging sack of flesh into something resembling an oddly carved, merry gourd, replete with unhealthy bumps and discolored splotches.
Oh, nice. That sounds pleasant.
The creases of the dwarf's face tighten into a smile as he gives you a courteous nod.
Okay, so let's move on. There's... someone is sitting there.
Sit. Please.
Okay, it's the voice that we heard.
Thank you for joining us, Watcher of Cadnua.
The gaunt woman seated at the table is clad in time-worn black armor that seems too massive for her to move in.
So if we hover over those highlighted parts, we get a little bit of lore behind it. For example, here, Cadnua. Cadnua was a Daiwood castle built over the ruins of the endless path of Otnua. Considered cursed, few ventured into its halls, and even fewer made any effort to hold the castle or the lands around it. You became the de facto lord of the castle after defeating its previous master, the Watcher, called Merwold. As the Watcher of Cadnua, you ruled the stronghold until it was destroyed by Eothas. The god of light occupied the Ardrar, a body of Maros Nua beneath the castle, and pulled himself out of the ground, destroying it in the process. I'm not sure if I will read every single one of these, but at least the ones I think are interesting for the story, I will.
A pale, slender neck rises from the gorget, topped by a hollow face. The milky skin stretched across it is delicate and translucent, like parchment that has been scraped clean too many times. She is preoccupied with the arrangement of cards on the table between you. With each movement, her armor squeaks and groans as though bearing an incredible weight. She places a final card, gives a nod of satisfaction, and raises her eyes to meet yours.
Your brush with the divine has drained you of your powers, fractured your memories. Look upon these cards. They represent the courses of your life. You alone know best how they flowed. Arrange them to fit what you remember.
Okay, examine the cards to choose your legacy. So that is basically choosing how we would have played Pillars of Eternity 1. I could import a save, which I always think is a cool feature. I think more games should have that, since we have so many games that have sequels and prequels and whatnot. I feel like more people should adopt that that technique. But so we have here Benevolent Soul. In Pillars of Eternity, you returned the lost Hollowborn soul to the Deerwood's children as you pledged to Hylia, goddess of the sky, maternity, creativity, birds, song. Birds kind of seems like that is very specific. The sky, maternity, creativity, and birds. Song, invention, language, and the arts. Not known to take a particular physical form, but thought to be present in birds of all kinds. You were kind and merciful to people you encountered, sympathetic to their pain, and charitable to those who needed help. So that would be if we would have played a very heroic character. Pillars of Eternity, you returned the lost Hollowborn's soul to the wheel as you pledged to Barath. Most other choices were judicious and balanced, tempered by rational thought and fairness rather than sympathy or emotion. Barath, god of death, cycles, mortality and inevitability. The keeper of the cycle of life and death, Barath is thought to seek to claim the lives of those who have lived past their time. According to folklore, Barath is seen most often in the form of the Pallid Knight or the Usher, two skeletal characters who led such people to their deaths by way of challenge or trickery. So that would be if we would have played a balanced character, obviously. A little bit of good, a little bit of bad, maybe a little bit more pragmatic. Survival of the fittest. In Pillars of Eternity, you used the soul of the Hollowborn to strengthen the Deerwood as you pledged to Galloway. Most other choices were made to strengthen you and your allies by punishing and weakening your enemies. God of the Hunt, Galloway. Assassins pursued wilderness and predatory creatures, sometimes thought to take the form of a fur-clad hunter or of a great hound. Galloway favors the survival of the strong and the culling of the weak. Dark Times. In Pillars of Eternity, you consigned the soul of the Hollowborn to oblivion, as you had pledged to Rimgard. You left a wake of physical destruction and spiritual annihilation wherever you went, seeking to bring a final end to all things. Rimgrand, god of entropy, cold winter, bad luck, famine, and natural disasters, manifests as a giant albino aurochs moving amidst a great blizzard, and in the plodding footsteps of Rimgrand come death and disintegration. Keeper of Secrets. In Pillars of Eternity, you pledged to consign the souls of the Hollowborn to oblivion as Rimgand requested, but you ultimately gave the soul to Vodica. You supported maintaining the god's secrets as well as your own. Vodica, goddess of justice, law, oath, promises, rulership, vengeance, memory, and hierarchies, depicted as an old noblewoman bearing a broken crown upon her head, said to have once ruled over the other gods but has since been overthrown. Everything bad. You did everything wrong. You pledged to do the bidding of every god and then scattered the souls of the Hollowborn to a random location. You got You got every companion killed. You got the worst outcome for every quest. If there's a mistake you could have made while still resolving the Hollowborn crisis, you made it. Not suggested for new players. We won't take that, although that seems very much how I play a game. Very badly. I think we will take fair and balanced. I think that is how I would have played it and how I imagine the character that I'm going to create would have done it. So.
Does everything appear to be in order?
Yes.
Good. Welcome to the Beyond. I am Bareth. One half, anyway.
She points a finger in the direction of the dwarf who led you here. Though the movement is slight, her gauntlet squeaks like a rusty hinge.
So we heard that Bareth is basically two people, an usher and the Pellet Knight. And it is no surprise that this is Bareth, since it's the god of death, and we are dead, it seems. Or at least something like
The dwarf's
death.
rictus returns as he nods in the woman's direction.
Tell me, do you remember when we last met?
So here we see, this is this symbol we get if it's a choice from Pillars of Eternity. So I could say yes in the Hall of Stars in Twin Realms. Okay. I think so. I pledge myself to do your bidding in exchange for your aid. I think I will actually take that since we picked the background with Baras.
And though you could have broken your pledge when you defeated Theos at Sun and Shadow, you did not. Admirable.
Thank you.
She delicately places a card on the table. A bell in a tower. Her fingertips slowly drag away from the card, faintly creaking as they retreat across the table.
You had need of the gods once before. Now it seems we have need of you. The being that occupied Odnua's statue beneath your castle was the dead god, Aothus. Of this we are certain. What we do not know is what his intentions are. Though Aothus stole a large fragment of your soul, you were strong enough to survive the onslaught and enter the in-between. You and he are still connected. He has chosen a body made of living Audra, perfused with the power of thousands of souls, including yours. It should be little difficulty for an experienced watcher to find him.
Am I dead?
No. But neither is your body truly alive. Your lungs draw breath, your heart pumps blood, but your flesh is as soulless as a Hollowborn. That is, until I return you.
Okay.
She delicately places a card upright on the table. The art depicts souls flowing out of a pillar of Audra.
Okay, so we have the options. Well, I'd like to find him as much as you would. He destroyed my castle and killed who knows how many people around it. 2, I've had enough of dealing with the gods, all of you. Why should I care about any of this? Then let's get on with it, or it doesn't matter how much you threaten me, I'm not doing this. I feel like a little bit of a reluctant, let's get on with it. Let's get over it. I mean, the thing with those kind of occurrences in games and other medias is that, yeah, we could just say, oh, we don't care. But if a god is on a rampage, sooner or later that will affect us, especially since it seems like we're kind of connected to it. So, let's just get on with it.
Good. Before you return to Aora as my herald, you must remember who you were, the last whisper of life in death.
For a moment, the sockets of her eyes darken, leaving the pits of a death's head gazing out at you.
One last thing, though. about the character and how I will play it. I will play the character how I imagine the character would decide, which means I won't necessarily always pick the option where I think that would be the best outcome, but instead sometimes I will pick dialogue options or make other choices that are not optimal but would be in character with the character I'm playing. So don't yell at me too much if I made quote-unquote mistakes, or that when something bad happens or the character does something awful. If I think it is in line with how I imagine the character, I will pick that option.
When you can picture your own face, the Beyond will lead you back to your own kind, to the world of mortals.
Okay, that sounds good. Own face sounds like character creation. So we can import a character or start from scratch. We will start from scratch. Something I do like is that there is a difference between male and female characters in terms of how society views them. I think that is a nice touch because obviously that are realistic, and a lot of games don't do that. It kind of doesn't matter if you're a woman or a man in the games, which is also nice. Not a bad thing, but I feel like it's a nice change of pace that is a feature in the game. So I will pick a female character this time. Last time it was a male character. So we have these kind... I will quickly go through a few of them, but I won't take too long with the character creation since I have a rough idea of what I want to do. So there are the Omoa or Amauer. They look like this, for example. The mighty Amoa are the largest of the Kith races and are commonly found in or near oceans. Though not truly aquatic, they have an affinity for water, and many of their civilizations, such as Rautai, are based on naval dominance. They are known for their unparalleled strength, would be +2 might. Then we have dwarves. By virtue of land covered and number of colonies settled, dwarves are the most well-traveled race in the world. They are commonly found in the Deerwood, the Valian Republics, and almost any colonized land. Dwarves are known for their great strength and tenacity. Might +2, Constitution +1, Dexterity -1. Then we have elves. Elves are the dominant race in Airglan Farth and the White That Wends, and are extremely common in the Deerwood and Edir. Elves are known for their speed and intelligence, as well as a commonly isolationist nature. Then we have godlike. That is interesting. The godlike are children of the Kith, civilized races, who have been blessed with physical aspects associated with the gods, though some do not consider it a blessing. These aspects may take many forms and often come with mystical powers. Aberrant head shapes are typical, and godlike are unable to wear protective headgear, as it is near impossible to find anything that fits. Because of their unusual nature and their inability to reproduce, godlike are often viewed with fear and wonder. Humans, commonly called folk, are the most common race in the Deerwood, the Edir Empire, Old Valia, and the Valian Republics. Though not as large as the towering Omoa, humans are known for their strength and willpower. And then we have the Orlan. Look at that. Very cute. Orlans are the smallest of the Kith races, though many cultures don't consider them to be civilized at all. Also notable for their large ears, two-toned skin, and hirsute bodies, Orlan are commonly found in Airglan Farth. The Isometric the eye planes and part of the Deerwood. They are known for their mental intensity and sharp senses. So, those are the races. They have sub-races, but I won't go through all of them now. We will take an elf. There we have two options. We have the Wood Elf and the Pale Elf. Wood Elves trace their beginnings far north of present-day Edir and have migrated south through the forests and jungles of the continent. Much of their history is connected with the meadow folk, and they are often found in the same lands. Some historians believe that Wood Elves migrated to Erglanfath at some point in the past, though Edir and Glenfathan elves are wholly different culturally. They are rarely found outside of Edir and the Eastern Reach. So we would get Wily Stab. Wood Elves have a natural resistance toward Dexterity afflictions, Dexterity +1 and Perception +1, and then there are the Pale Elves. It is unclear how long ago the Pale Elves, Glamfallen, came to the southern polar region of the world, but they have lived there for at least 12,000 years based on their continuous contact with Omoa traders. They are one of the most stationary ethnic groups in the known world, migrating within the polar region but seldom venturing far north. They are rare in northern lands, and most people consider them exotic, if they have seen one at all. +1 dexterity and +1 perception. Elemental endurance. The Pale Elves' long history of living in hospitable climates have given them an inherent resistance to burn and freeze. We will take a Pale Elf. Select single or multi-class. Now here I'm not sure. And I'm debating the pros and cons here. But I think I will go with multi-class. So we have all these different classes that are, like, most of them are pretty straightforward, like fighter, barbarian, wizard, and all that. Priest, obviously, druid. So we have two classes basically now that we can level up, and last time we played a ranger. We won't play a ranger this time. This time, at least the first class will be a druid. So then we have more subclasses. So you see the character creation here. I would say for me it has one big pro and a little bit of a con as well. The big pro is that it's very in-depth. You have lots of options to create a cool character in terms of the background and abilities, and I really enjoy that. That gives me a sense of replayability and also the option to immerse myself into the character, not only with their fighting skills, but also in terms of their dialogue options and background. That I really like. What I don't like is that there are visually not many options to choose from. Like, it's a bit limited compared to others, but that's just a small criticism. And we get to that. We have the Animist. Animists are the most common druids in Eora. Seeing life in all facets of the world, Animists draw power from the complex web of connection between plants, animals, the weather, and even humble rocks and soil. Those are our levels. Furies. Furies embrace storms as the essential wild spirit of nature. Instead of spirit shifting into an animal form, Furies transform themselves into a Stormblight. Despite their name, Furies are not known for being particularly violent, but are known for being loud, boisterous, and generally impossible to shut up. Lifegiver. While not pacifist, Lifegiver groves tend to be the most peaceful gatherings of druids. They focus heavily on healing magic, but lack the ability to summon allies. They are commonly found in rural communities where feuds and tempers run high, such as the Deerwood. Druid rejuvenation spell cast with increased power level. While spirit shifted, the druid power level bonus to rejuvenation spell is greatly increased. Then we have shifters. Shifters emphasize the spirit shifting capabilities of druids rather than their spell casting abilities. Unlike other druids, shifters possess the ability to shift to any animal form. Shifters are known as isolated and antisocial druids, often living as hermits far from civilization. And then we have Ancient. Not all ancients are venerable in form, but many have walked Eora for hundreds of years. Primal in nature, these zealots of Galavine tend to keep themselves in forests and extreme environments, warding off would-be travelers and conjuring untamed magic. So, I think I will pick Shifter. And then we have Winter Wind. Causes an icy wind of incredible power to arise, pushing back all in the area of effect and inflicting freeze damage. I like that, since we come from the polar region, or have our origins there. Our second class. Now that would be interesting. Maybe a priest would be interesting, or a sorcerer. I think a sorcerer. We will take a wizard sorcerer. Conjurer. Conjurers specialize in spells that summon weapons and physical objects, but are unable to cast evocation or illusion spells. Enchanter. Enchanters focus on magic that bedazzles and confuses foes, but are unable to cast illusion and transmutation spells. Evokers. Evokers devote all their energy towards destructive energy magic, but are unable to cast transmutation or conjuration spells. Illusionists. Illusionists master spells that disguise and conceal, but are unable to cast. Okay. Transmuter. Transmuters excel at all magic that alters the wizard or their enemies. Or a blood mage. Devoted to the belief that blood fuels the power of the soul, blood mages walk a painful and self-destructive path to arcane mastery. Though reputable adamancers have discredited their beliefs, those few that have witnessed blood magic cannot deny that gratuitous self-harm can indeed preface unbelievable, often terrible, magic events. Blood sacrifice. Draw upon your own life force to fuel your magic when others could not. Receive a variable amount of raw damage in order to restore a spell level of equal or lesser proportion to the damage received. After use, wizard spells will receive a bonus to power level for a short time. Gain passive health regeneration. Unable to use Empower. Empower yourself to refill half of your expended resources, or empower a spell. Okay. All defenses against bloodied attackers are reduced. Kind of would find that interesting, a blood mage. Right? Sounds fun. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it! Okay, that is a lot of chill fog. Calls a blindingly white icy fog into existence, inflicting blindness and freeze damage over time to any in the area of effect. Kinda like that. Let's focus on frost spells. Now, we have highly recommended for sorcerers, recommended for sorcerer, recommended for sorcerer. So we have 15 points to spend. I think I will go definitely quite a bit in intellect. Might complete damage, healing, effectiveness, and fortitude. I think if we stay with 10, that might be okay. Constitution affects health and the fortitude defense. It represents a combination of the character's overall health and stamina. Dexterity. Perception, we got an extra one there. Resolve. Resolve contributes towards reducing hostile effect duration as well as improving will and reflection defenses. It reflects the character's internal drive, determination, and fearlessness. Kind of like having some extra there. I think then I go 5 into might as well, and 3 more into intellect. Where are you from? I think we will pick the origin of the white elves, or the pale elves, I think. A large cracked southern expanse of the polar ice, the white that wends, is home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts, and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the white, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other to survive. Okay. What is your job? That is a good question. Could be a mystic. You've never been able to explain how the universe guides your path. Behind every task you undertake is a feeling of cosmic direction. Merchant. You've traded goods from all over the world, pairing items with buyers of all kinds. Not sure about that. Same laborer, don't think so. I think explorer could be interesting. Or drifter. I think we'd take drifter. Since there must be a reason why we ventured north and or south. Why we ventured from the white that wends, and we heard that the pale elves are not known to be very explorational. So I think I will take, or maybe aristocrat, maybe a noble pale elf. You've lived your life amongst the nobility. Your days have been marked by lavish meals and extravagant parties. Your conversations prepped with talk of pedigree and bloodlines. I think I will take that. We are former royalty. Let's take that. 2 available weapon types. Oh, how does that work? I think I will take Scepter. And since we're a pure sorcerer, Scepter and Rod. Or Scepter and Wand, I think. Yeah. Now here's one of the things. There's not much to choose from, I feel. But I would prefer if you could also have a customized icon, but okay. I think that is okay. So then colors, cloth colors. Let's see. I think we will go, generally speaking, with a blue theme. Yeah, let's do that. Skin. I like this. Now hair. Some ashen hair. Maybe with a little gray color. And the eyes will be blue as well. Then the head. Oh, with the scar. Ooh, I kind of like that. Especially considering this is the sequel. So, in my mind, we lost the eye during Pillars of Eternity 1. What's that? Ah! I like that. I like that. Now, the voice.
Finish them!
Here you can see the voices from the Critical Role cast. Won't take
Silence
these
surrounds
though.
me. Onward!
The better part of valor. I'm here.
Let's take noble. I like it. With the sassy style, yeah, let's be a little bit sassy here. And now we need a name. Let's call her Naya. So, I'm very happy with that. Let's do it. We have a character. The hero is born.
Go forth now, Watcher, as my herald. Know that I do not give you this title lightly. When the time comes, you will have the power to reveal the souls that cling to you, to open the gateway from the in-between to the waking world. Find Aethys. Learn his plans. When I have cause to talk to you, I will summon you.
With a quick gesture of her hand, you feel a sharp pain in what would be your chest. The pain continues, intruding deeper into your soul. Looking down, you see a small lump of darkness roiling within you. The darkness lingers there, but the pain abates and fades entirely within the span of a few seconds.
A chime. Do not fear, Herald. It will not harm you unless you choose to cross me. I trust it will not come to that.
Her gauntleted hand gestures to the dwarf,
I don't like
hovering
that.
nearby. The dwarf nods, contorts his face with his odd smile, and gestures to a new door.
It feels a little bit that like we're blackmailed here. That we don't have much of a choice against her. Or it, who got Barath. But since we don't have a choice, no reason to ponder over it. But it is something to keep in mind, that we have this failsafe inside of us. Probably explode just the first time when we say no to Barath. Okay, I have to go here. Is that us? I think so. Poof! We poofed. Oh! We're back. Oh, and the sassy stance
The return
immediately.
to your body feels like waking
like it.
after a fitful drunken sleep. The rocking of the ship sends pain jolting through your limbs. Crashing waves hammer inside your skull. Adair watches over your body with a glazed look, taking long, even tokes from his pipe. At the first movement of your chest, he starts. His gasp, mid-puff, sends him coughing and straining for breath.
I remember Adair. That is a character we met in the very first town. And I think had like a religious background with Aethys, if I remember correctly. It's been a while. It's been over a half a year since I played Pillars of Eternity 1. But I think that's the case. And at least the first one he was voiced by Matt Mercer.
No, there's no way. You're
He was
awake.
small.
What are you doing awake? How are you feeling?
I could ask who you are, but I actually remember, so... I'm in a lot of pain.
That might have been me. I've been slapping you a little harder each day, trying to wake you.
Thank you, I guess?
I never dreamed it'd work.
Adair stares with disbelief at what would likely be his slapping hand, examining both sides. He shrugs.
It wasn't you, Adair. That is not medical proficiency. Like, no.
Well, you owe me.
I hate to cast a pall over your recovery, but I'm afraid I have some bad news for
Steward.
you.
Is that the statue?
The voice echoes from inside the bust. The remains of the steward of Cad Nua.
Okay. That I'm not familiar.
Cad Nua has been destroyed. Aethys possessed the statue of Maros Nua and rose from the ground, consuming the souls of all nearby. It is only by the exceptional strength of your soul that you survived. And even then, just barely. The further Aethys withdrew, the weaker you became. We chartered this ship and followed him to the Deadfire archipelago. I know not how, but it seems he has retained a piece of your soul. And proximity to it has brought you back.
I know.
How could you know all that? You've been faking on us.
He pokes at your shoulder with one finger.
No, stop the poking and the slapping there. Oh boy.
Misfortunes brewing topside, we... Magrans fires the captain stirs.
An older man with ale-sour breath rubs his bloodshot eyes and stares at you.
Magran, goddess of war, fire, transformation, purification, consumption, and trials, patron goddess of the Deerwood, thought to have blessed the Godhammer bomb that destroyed Waidwen and possibly Aethys.
Engrim, the smell of drink on your breath could wake the very dead. Now what's this about?
Pirates.
Pirates!
They're demanding parley with you, Captain.
I know this is asking a lot, but you better arm yourself and get on deck. Should be some gear in there.
He indicates a nearby wardrobe.
So, we're right back in action. Oh, here are our shapeshifts. I think... I feel like a bear or a stag would be fitting. Maybe both. We can switch around. Okay, we have some stuff.
Alright, now make some use of it.
Grimoire. Grimoires allow wizards to cast spells they have not yet learned. To cast the spell in a grimoire, it must be equipped in the wizard grimoire slot. Wizard can quickly switch between grimoires in combat by replacing additional grimoires in the quick item slots. To review spells included in a grimoire, right-click on it or click the question mark icon in the inventory. Then click on the grimoire. Note that although grimoires give access to many powerful spells, a wizard cannot cast a spell out of a grimoire if they are not high enough level to access the level of spell. Okay. So, first let's equip the mail armor. Okay. Looks at least very safe. Not very nice, but safe. Scepter. Oh. So, how does that work? That worked differently in the first one. I feel like I could... Can I switch things out, or did I miss something already? Okay. Well, this one can then go offhand. Or can I put that... Oh, can dual wield things. Appearance, preview ability tree, no. Okay.
The pirates of
Maybe I'm missing
Deadfire are
something,
notorious. I suggest you deal with them quickly.
I'll use the scepter first. Blood sacrifice, combat only, Visage of Death's Herald. Use your Watcher powers to gaze through your target's eyes into their soul, temporarily frighten them. Then we can shapeshift.
If we don't get out there now, we'll have lost by the time we do.
Okay. Yeah. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm saving the world once again. Let's see what the ruckus is about. Must be a big ruckus if the loading takes so long. So maybe I missed something with the grimoire, but we will have a look at that later when we get new spells and everything, so no problem there. There we are.
Well, what have we here? A little sloop? Lost and alone in the storm?
Oh, now this is not being spoken. Okay. A surly, brutish-looking captain stands stiff back before his crew. He scowls as he assesses you, his hair whipping about his ears in the wind.
I'll be taking your ship now, if you don't mind. And especially if you do.
Well, at least he asked.
Oh, that's a good
I am
point.
a gentleman of fortune.
The captain shrugs in the sheeting rain before pitting you with a slow, murderous grin.
Give her up easy, and I'll see you get a swift death.
Ooh. Oh, this
It'll
is
be
because
bloody
we are
and agonising,
aristocrat.
sure. But at least it'd be quick.
As if I would ever surrender to a common pirate. I don't have any quarrel with you. Why do you want my ship? Pirates? The storm's pretty loud. Did you say you're surrendering? How strange. I'm going to mount your skull in my cabin, okay? Make rude hand gesture. I like that. Adair smiles, like he's just seen an old friend. Dispositions. You have gained a reputation and a disposition. Dispositions represents how people perceive your personality throughout the world. Even seemingly nasty reputations will be favored by some people, and benign reputations sometimes bring out the worst in certain people. No disposition is inherently good or bad in Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire. You see icons for the effects of the dialogue. Decision on disposition enables show personality reputation option in difficulty settings. So we turned that off because I want to be surprised, or I don't want to be swayed by what I'm shown, but just answer the way I feel the character would answer.
Always like that one. Sometimes I like to wiggle the finger like it's tickling.
Oh, I like your spirit.
He laughs long and loud over the din of the howling rain. Then he sobers, instantly his face a mask of
But
rage.
that won't spare you none. Listen up, mates.
He cracks his neck as he addresses his crew.
I'm off to spear me a bigger fish. One with sharper teeth like. I'm trusting you lot not to cock this up. Don't damage the sloop when you take it. Play with the crew if you'd like, but don't bring me any prisoners. None that are alive.
What a charming fellow.
You had bandwidth! After him!
Oh, I poofed him. Let's go into bear. Let's do bear.
Defend the ship!
Can I do bear? Do bear. Oh, there we are. We are bear now. Oh, look at that. We're a bear.
Storm's picking up! Take cover!
Okay. You have defeated the pirates, but you're not out of trouble yet. The storm picks up, lashing your ship and driving you dangerously close to a rocky shore. The Defiant's crew hurries to reduce sail and batten down the hatches. They work quickly, but the ship is still listing heavily. Just then, a loose crate tumbles toward you, gathering speed on the rain-slicked deck. It misses you, but knocks Chitopak, one of your deckhands, off his feet. The Defiant heaves. Chitopak pitches over the side. He grabs onto the rail, but his fingers are slipping. He cries out for help. Meanwhile, the runaway crate totters on the edge of the deck, ready to plunge overboard. You recognize the symbol on the front and realize it likely contains the salvage from Cat Nua, your keep. Rescue Chitterpack or save the crate? We will rescue Chitterpack. You grab Chitterpack's arm just as his grip fails. For a tense moment, he hangs suspended over the roiling sea. Then, with a mighty tug, you pull him back onto the deck. You hear a heavy splash. The crate from Cat Nua is gone. Chitterpack, meanwhile, nods in gratitude and hurries to his station. Meanwhile, the storm has nearly driven you ashore. A flash of lightning reveals a treacherous coastline and Aethys striding into the distance. The lookout barely has time to shout a warning before the Defiants run aground. The impact hurls from the deck and into a froth of waves, bodies and splintering debris. You struggle toward the beach just ahead, even as the surf tugs you towards the open sea. You kick and paddle with all your might until at last you feel sand between your fingers. Pulling yourself ashore, you collapse. Deflection is one of your 4 defenses. The others are Fortitude, Reflex, and Will. It opposes most melee, ranged weapon attacks, as well as many spells that directly target an individual with weapon-like attacks. So, we crash landed, of course, after we got attacked by pirates, by a not so nice pirate. I would assume we will meet him again, since he just peaced out. There we are, waking up again.
You've been getting a lot of sleep so far on this trip. I'd have woke you, but you look so peaceful with your face in the sand.
Adair runs his finger through his hair and removes a strand of seaweed he finds lodged there. He examines it closely and then tosses it onto the sand.
If you're worried about the ship, you can stop worrying. It's wrecked right over there.
He points out the Defiant, despite it being difficult to miss from your vantage point.
So far, it's just you and me and the chair lady over there.
Adair nods towards something further up the beach.
It's a relief to see you awake, my lady. I worried you were in for another long sleep.
Your skirt appears to be lodged between some rocks. Despite this, her tone is warmly cheerful. What happened? Where are we? I hate boats.
Shh. It's right behind you.
Unfortunately, I believe we'll be needing the Defiant yet. Unless you mean to settle down on the island for good.
I mean, depending on how nice the island is. Let's get going. What do we do now?
It is your decision, but Aethys still holds a piece of your soul. He was moving inland last I saw of him. I rather think he will have been hard to miss.
I mean, it's a big walking statue.
Let's see about the other survivors. And somehow we gotta get the ship repaired.
Sounds good.
I don't want to be paddling out of here on a salvage raft.
For now, I'd say your best bet is to find some sign of civilization. If nothing else, we may be able to hire on a shipwright.
That sounds good.
My lady, if it is not too taxing, could you explain how it came to pass that you were returned to us?
Squint dramatically while looking out at the ocean. I've returned as the Herald of Barath. I'm on a special mission to find Aethys and learn what his plans are.
Sure. I suppose if any mission could be considered special, it'd have to be this one.
Thank you for the enthusiasm, Adair.
A perilous endeavor indeed. Castle or no castle, you are still my lady, and I
Okay.
aid you to the best of my ability.
That's very nice.
Well, I suppose we better get a move on.
Yeah, you can join me, obviously. Let's go. So, do I want him to be a fighter, a rogue, or a swashbuckler? A fighter rogue. I'm not sure what he was in the first one. I think he was a swashbuckler, right? But I take him as the fighter. Okay. With him there. Can we talk some more to him?
This brings back some memories, huh?
What are your thoughts on Aethys this moment?
I don't know. I've still got this picture of him in my mind from when I was a kid in church. It's nothing like what we're seeing. Just like it was nothing like Widewind. But that first image, that's still what Aethys is to me.
Okay.
If you like.
What did you do after we ended the legacy?
I like that feeling, knowing we'd stopped Theos. We were part of something big. That was something I never felt before, not even at war. Guess I went looking for it again. Not that I wanted to tangle with gods, but something smaller. Something I thought I could manage. I looked all around the Deerwood, but that place has too many ghosts for me. Things I'd just as soon forget. Ended up moving to Adir and tracking down my parents. They went there as refugees after the war ended.
Did you find a way to be useful?
In part, I guess. Adir, they still got some bad blood with Deerwood. Goes back to the Revolution. Some Adirans like to give Deerwoodans a hard time they get the chance. With my folks, a group came along and tried to take their land. Made a phony claim to it.
So what did you do?
I sat down with them and we had a friendly negotiation. One fella, I don't think he'll ever be able to look to his right again. But we came to an understanding.
Okay.
My folks, well, they didn't see me the same after that. I think they'd have rather given up the land than have it come to violence. And I don't know if that was something we could have avoided, or if it was the cost of trying to fix things.
Interesting. Okay. And I think that will be where we will leave it for today. The first episode of Roleplay Royale is in the books. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a good time so far. Obviously, just the beginning. Got the character creation done. We jumped into the game. We're now crash landed on an island, trying to chase and defeat a god. Just the usual stuff. I hope that you will be there for the next episode as well. If you enjoyed this one, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want more content and more Pillars of Eternity, consider subscribing to the channel. Also, let me know about your experiences in Pillars of Eternity 1, since I haven't played it. And most likely won't play it anytime soon. I would like to hear about your adventures and experiences in the first Pillars of Eternity, and maybe some additional info that you can provide on some characters we have now. Obviously, no spoilers for any upcoming characters or anything that I haven't explored yet, but maybe some background information on Adair from Pillars of Eternity 1 is much appreciated. Now, I will be back very soon with more Pillars of Eternity. Until then, have a great time.